The Buffalo Bills have fired their head coach, Sean McDermott, and I want to talk about how this relates to the Raiders. Now, the Raiders have already interviewed or set to interview 13 different head coaches, and Sean McDermott just got fired by the Buffalo Bills. Now, this guy has not been on my radar at all. Just looking into him, I mean, the dude's 51 years old, so he's a little bit older compared to most of the coaches that are in this cycle. And this kind of goes into the theme that I keep talking about, where a lot of teams are kind of moving on from their older coaches, even though they're good coaches, and really looking towards the younger, more up-and-coming coaches that are in this cycle. Now, Sean McDermott, I mean, he started in the NFL, I mean, back with the Eagles in 2001 under Andy Reid, and that's very interesting to me. Although McDermott is a defensive-minded head coach, after being with the Eagles as their defensive coordinator from 2009 2010, he ended up going over to the Carolina Panthers from 2011 to 2016. They ended up in the Super Bowl 50, and consistently had a top 10 defense while he was there. Then in 2017, he went on to coach the Buffalo Bills. Now, him coaching the Bills, that's a very interesting thing to me because he got there the year before Josh Allen. And Josh Allen was really viewed as this prospect that was like, he's really rough around the edges, he has some potential, and really if he can be kind of molded and shaped and turned into a good quarterback, this could be a good thing, right? And Josh Allen is considered one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So, sometimes the success falls on, it's Josh Allen and the quarterback's carrying, and then some people, are already putting out stuff saying that, well, Sean McDermott has done a good job of getting the Bills in the playoffs consistently. I think they've been in the playoffs 7 years straight. So that's an interesting problem to have. When you have a team that's been in the playoffs like 7 years straight, and then like, you know what, we need to move on from our head coach because we can't get to a Super Bowl. Like, those are like gold-plated problems to have, you know what I'm saying? Like, the Raiders have not been in that problem at all. We're struggling to get a coach that can even get multiple wins in a row, let alone playoff appearances in a row. So, right off the bat, Sean McDermott, he seems like an interesting prospect to me. He's definitely not my number one right now just because he's a bit older, and he's a defensive-minded head coach, and I've told you guys already, the problem with the defensive-minded head coach is that you end up having to find a really good offensive coordinator. Now, if you miss on the offensive coordinator, what happens is the team sucks, right? The offense can't get it going. So then, if you do land on the offensive coordinator, then that offensive coordinator ends up getting head coach position offers. And then you lose your offensive coordinator. You end up like Dan Campbell and the Lions, where Ben Johnson, their offensive coordinator, ended up getting hired as the Bears head coach, and the Lions didn't make the playoffs, and the Bears did, right? Right now, Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for the Bills, is one of the coaches that we've talked about, because he's in this cycle of head coaching candidates. And so, when you hear Josh Allen like crediting his development, he talks about Joe Brady. He doesn't it's not like hey, Sean McDermott really helped develop me into this quarterback, you know what I'm saying? But if we look at the Bills, man, the Bills are always a team that, I've looked at for years as like, they are absolutely contenders. They are Super Bowl contenders, not just playoff contenders. This is a tough team to beat, and you got to give a lot of credit of that to the head coach. I was watching this thing earlier. I don't know if it was CBS or what it was, man. And they were talking about how, it's kind of weird that they moved on from the head coach and then kept the general manager, because the general manager, they said, they haven't really been drafting super well there in Buffalo, and maybe that could play a pretty decent role. I know how they could get frustrated over there at the Bills with consistently, man. There's all these memes going around where it's like, oh yeah, well, there's no Patrick Mahomes, no Lamar Jackson, no Joe Burrow. Like, this is Josh Allen's year to make it to the Super Bowl. And then he gets knocked out by Bo Nix and the Broncos, it's pretty unfortunate that Bo Nix ended up fracturing his ankle in overtime against the Bills. And so he's not even going to be playing in the championship game, which ultimately Jared Stidham's probably not going to lead them to a win against the Patriots. And the Patriots are just going to go to the Super Bowl. And it could have been a better matchup with the Bills going against the Patriots to try to get into the Super Bowl. This ultimately has cost Sean McDermott his job. And, I mean, the dude's got a really good record. And, I'm not finding it right now. I believe it was 98-51 or something like that. And that's, when you have a head coach that wins twice as much as he loses, that's absolutely amazing. That is something that you absolutely want. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's 98-50 record. His record is 98 wins to 50 losses. Like, that's pretty significant, you guys. Yes, he's had Josh Allen for almost all of that. He got there the year before Josh Allen did. He got there 2017. Josh Allen got there 2018. Honestly, I think that this is a coach that I would at least like to see the Raiders put in for an interview for him, kick the tires on this, see what's there, because you don't slip and fall and land on twice the wins as losses you have just by a fluke with a quarterback that was like a developmental quarterback. Yes, Josh Allen's turned into a great quarterback, don't get me wrong. But it's very, very interesting to me. Like I said, man, when it comes to defensive head coaches, that's really not where I land. But, man, Sean McDermott just put a whole twist in this whole coaching cycle, because now the Bills are people are saying that this is the best landing spot for a head coach right now. So there's another coach that's going to be off the market, and who knows who's going to want to go land at the Bills. Is it going to be Clint Kubiak, who's my number one choice? Is he going to say, you know what, I was thinking about going over to the Raiders, and I was thinking about going to the Ravens, but the Bills job just opened up, and I could go coach Josh Allen. That really throws a wrench in things, you guys. So I'm really interested to see what kind of develops over the next couple of days when it comes to rumors about, who's interested in Sean McDermott, who's interested in the Bills job, or who are the Bills interested in. You guys let me know in the comments, how do you feel about Sean McDermott? Should we, as the Raiders, go out there and get this veteran head coach, 98 wins versus 50 losses? Or do you think we need to pass and get one of these younger offensive-minded coaches? You guys let me know in the comments. Like always, I love you, nation. I'll catch you on the next one.